Hey everyone, my name is Ashu. I'm the founder, one of the founders of Make School. We're really excited for this year's Summer Academy. It's definitely going to be the best one ever. For those of you who don't know, we've done this 3 years now, starting with 30 students, and last summer we had 120 students, and this year we're shooting to have around 200 students at the summer program. So this year we're also launching a apps track in addition to the games track that we had last year. So definitely very excited about that. If you guys will notice, there's a Q&A pane on the side of this Hangout, which if you have any questions through the Hangout, please ask them there. I think most of the value to be gained from this discussion is that Q&A. But before we jump into that, I wanted to give you a little bit about my personal background, as well as a quick recap of some of the overview of the Summer Academy. So a little backstory. When I was in high school, when I was 16, I built my first iPhone game, and it sold 50,000 copies in the App Store. And this for me was the coolest experience I ever had because unlike solving problems on tests, I was creating something tangible. I was bringing an idea I had to life, and I was much more engaged with the learning that I was doing. And it was a really unique experience to have thousands of people all around the world write reviews about a product that I had created, saying that, hey, this is my favorite game or this is my favorite app. And I think that experience is truly unparalleled. And the second piece of this is that after I had built that app, I had a lot of internship and job opportunities given to me. One time I was standing in line for the new iPad that my dad was going to get, and the guy behind us overheard me talking about my iPhone app and then offered me an internship opportunity for the summer. And it goes to show that if you are able to build real-world products, there's a lot of demand for those skills. And this experience was one of the reasons why we decided to start the Summer Academy and provide this experience to more people, to high school and college students, or sometimes older folk as well, and give them that access to being able to learn how to build a complete product, and have that opportunity to get internships in the future. And so, yeah, just a little bit of background on myself and why we decided to start this program. A quick overview of the Summer Academy. The first few weeks of the Summer Academy, since everyone has already come in with some programming background, the first few weeks we'll dive into Swift and iOS development, so covering some of the basics that you'll need. If you're in the games track, you'll clone popular games like Angry Birds, Conway's Game of Life, and Flappy Bird. And on the apps track, you'll clone Instagram and Evernote, which would really neat for you to get some experience building apps that other people have made. And then from there, the remaining 6 weeks, you'll be mostly focused on building your own product. And so you'll come to us with some app idea or a game idea, and from there, we'll work with you to make sure there's something that's reasonable for you to build in the time that you have. And from there, you mostly work on your own product with the help of our instructors. And anytime that you're not sure how to implement a certain feature, we'll help you. And anytime that you're interested in getting help with fixing a bug, we're there to help you as well. And we'll continue to have more lectures throughout the program, so you can learn more about different topics in game development or app development, but not only just on the development side, in terms of product development as a whole. So we'll touch on topics like user experience design, as well as monetization and marketing, to try to give you a sense of the full product development lifecycle. So it's not just, even though you'll be going deep into the technology, you'll be getting exposure to the full product development process. And one of the really neat things about this is we'll also bring in speakers from industry to talk to you about what their experience developing products has been like. So last year we had Sam Altman, who is the president of Y Combinator. We had Matt Thompson, who's written a lot of cool tutorials on iOS, and Alexis Ohanian, the founder of Reddit, all come in and give talks about what their experience getting into the industry was like, and what they recommend for younger students to do if they want to accomplish similar things. The results from our summer program have been really great. A lot of the students who do our summer program the following summer are able to get tech internships at top companies like Facebook and Apple and so on and so forth. And some of the younger alums who are in high school have also used this as a way to get into top colleges. So we're again pretty excited by this program and excited to be expanding again. Now I'll jump into the questions that people are asking. So I'll try to take them in the order that they came in. So the first question is there housing, and how much does it cost, and is it available to people under 18? So we, with the core summer academy, we don't provide housing directly. However, we do have some housing partners. Most of those housing partners are located in San Francisco. So if you're looking for housing, your best bet is to do the San Francisco location. We'll have, I think, about 30 spots available in San Francisco. We will also have 8 spots in Palo Alto and New York City, and we're working towards getting more spots for different partners, or 3 different partners for you. The cost of those will be variable. I think it's anywhere between $1,000 a month to $1,500 a month, and we'll send out more information about that. If you are specifically interested in more of that information, just shoot an email to hello@makeschool.com, and we'll make sure to send you the full info on the housing. And it will be available to people under 18 years old. The next question is, do you have samples of some game and app development our high school students have completed in the Summer Academy? So yeah, we have a few different games. The best place to look at this on our success stories page. If you go to the Summer Academy and success stories, you can see a few of the apps that students have built. I can describe to you a few of the games. One game that students have built was a game called Name That Jam. And in Name That Jam, what you do is you pick a song to send to your friend, and your friend has to listen to the 30-second preview of that song. And if they like that, they'll then be able to, or sorry, if they then have to guess what that song is based on the 30-second preview. And if they get it right, they get a certain amount of points based on how long it took to guess, and they'll send you a song back. Another cool game was Deep Sea Fury. And this game was one of the most polished games that came out of the summer program, and it's somewhat similar to actually the game that I had built when I was younger, but basically you are a little fish and you start very small, and across the screen there are larger fish and smaller fish that roam, and you have to eat the smaller fish, but you can't hit the bigger fish because the bigger fish will kill you. And you continue as you eat more and more smaller fish, you become bigger and bigger yourself and go deeper into the ocean, and evolve. Your character evolves as time goes on. Once again, I'm happy to send out a more complete list of apps students have built to give you a better sense. If you, again, just shoot an email to hello@makeschool.com. It's a wide variety of apps, both multiplayer games that involve a server or local games that are more simple or similar to Angry Birds or so on and so forth. And this year with the new apps track, we're really excited by the types of apps that students will be building. Again, it's really, you're limited by mostly your own imagination and creativity, and we'll obviously make sure that you're not building something too complex for you to build in the time you have. But we've also noticed a lot of students that after they build their first app at the Summer Academy, they've then learned enough to be able to build more on their own. And so most of our students end up going to hackathons frequently, as well as working on new projects outside of what they just built at the summer. So the way we see it, the summer is just the starting point for you. Once you've learned how to build and ship that first app, we think it's unlimited what you can go out and do. The next question, I think I may be out of order now. But the next question is, will you give a letter of recommendation when applying for colleges? Will that help in getting into good undergrad schools? So we have given letters of recommendations. We have instructors who have worked closely with students give letters of recommendations for colleges, and we do believe that helps. Again, having the experience of actually building a real-world product and taking it from an idea and bringing that idea to life is something that does help you shine with those undergraduate applications. And we're happy to have our instructors write recommendation letters for you. The next question is, I'm from India and wish to come to the Summer Academy. As far as the Summer Academy fees are concerned, it is more than my fees at college. Is there a way I'm eligible for a scholarship? So we do offer scholarships. About 40% of our students from last summer were on either a full or partial scholarship. So we're definitely aware that cost is an issue. Obviously, we have to charge in order to be able to host the Summer Academy and hire really top quality instructors and hire professional software developers as well as students who otherwise could be interning at companies like Facebook or Google to be teaching at the Summer Academy. And so in order to do that, but we do provide a lot of scholarships, and so there's an application. If you're admitted, you can choose to apply for a scholarship, and we hand out scholarships mostly on a as needed basis. So if your family has financial challenges, then you're much more likely to receive the scholarship. We unfortunately don't do merit-based scholarships because, again, we'd like to provide this opportunity to as many students as possible who otherwise would not be able to afford it. The next question says, how much of actual learning will they be doing? The schedule says the first few weeks are for learning, and after that they work on their own apps. So there will be a lot of learning even during the period of working on your own apps. In fact, that's where we find the most learning happens. Again, when you're actually working on a project that you personally care about, you're much more, or the information that you learn ends up being retained and sticks much more. And even though the bulk of the time in the later weeks are working on your own original app, there will be a lot of lectures covering more advanced topics in programming, and again, a lot of speakers that'll come in and give talks about what the professional world is like, and so there'll be a lot of learning through that. And during that entire period, during the second half of the program, the instructors will work one-on-one with students. So instead of having one lecturer delivering content to multiple students, it'll be much more one-on-one learning, where whenever the students need to learn a certain topic, instructors will work with them on a one-on-one basis. So again, we find the one-on-one to be a much better way to learn, and so that's how the academy is structured. The next question is, when do you decide between the apps and games track, and will you be allowed to change between them at any point? So we'll have you decide between the tracks before you come with the program. If during the first week or so you decide that, hey, I don't actually want to do the apps or I want to do the games, then we'd be open to having you switch during the first week. Unfortunately, past the first week, because the curriculums are a bit different and the technologies are a bit different, it would be hard for you to switch between the tracks. So we encourage you to do some research beforehand and make sure you have a pretty final decision when you arrive. But of course, if you do need to switch or do feel a strong need to switch in the first week, we're happy to have you do that. The next question is, do we get to visit and tour a tech firm? So last year we organized visits to Google in New York City and Tilt in San Francisco, and a few other cool companies in all three locations. And so we definitely will be organizing some sort of visits to startups or tech companies. Again, it's a great experience for you to be aware of what the environment is like. And we hope to be a place that provides you a window into the professional world, and so touring one of these companies is definitely one of those things. Another question, the next question is, what are the next steps after this Q&A? So the next steps after the Q&A will be, if you've already submitted an application, then we'll review the application, and if we like the application, we'll schedule you in for a 10-minute interview with one of our instructors, and if we like you through the interview, then we'll admit you. After which you have to enroll and so on and so forth. If you have not yet applied, I encourage you to apply. We have about 1 week left until the application deadline, and so go to makeschool.com and click on the Summer Academy and click apply and turn in your application. So I think these questions might be out of order, so I'm sorry if I haven't gotten to your question yet. One question is, can foreign students get in the 2-year program after the Summer Academy? So unfortunately, right now, we can't provide visas for the 2-year program, but we're working on a way to do that. And so ideally, by this time next year, we will be able to admit foreign students for the 2-year program. Now, to clarify, for the summer program, foreign students can absolutely do the summer program. We had students from 16 different countries apply to or come to the summer or come to the U.S. just for the Summer Academy last year. So if you're foreign, you can definitely do the summer program. If you are foreign and interested in the 2-year program, please drop us an email, again, hello@makeschool.com, and we can talk to you a little bit more about that. But unfortunately, it looks like this year it won't be possible. Another question is, if I don't have a Mac right now, do you provide one on loan for a fee? So we ourselves don't provide Macs on loan, but there are other organizations around San Francisco and Palo Alto that do provide Macs on loan. And we also encourage you to try to see if one of your friends has a Mac that you can loan. So we ourselves don't provide it, but there should be options for you if you're interested. During the Summer Academy, will the student be given a product app to build? Is it tangible product, and will they build and sell? So absolutely, the app that you build will be yours. You'll own it 100%. a lot of our students have then put it on the App Store and gotten thousands of downloads for that app. I think Name That Jam had about 60,000 downloads for that app, and a couple of the other games had also made some money on the App Store. So it's definitely something that we encourage you to put on the App Store and try to get people to sell. A question is, what's the daily schedule like, and how many high school students will be attending the New York program specifically? So last year in New York, we had about 50% of the students were high school students, and the other 50% were college students. In the San Francisco and Palo Alto, it seems that in Palo Alto there are more, it's skewed more towards high school students, versus San Francisco was skewed more towards older students. But in New York, it should be about a 50-50 split. The daily schedule will vary. The daily schedule will often be most days will have either a lecturer or a speaker at some point during the day, after which students will be working on their own project, and it'll be broken up where they'll be working on the project for most of the day, and it'll be broken by some sort of lecture or some sort of talk. And again, during the working on the project period, the instructors will constantly be walking around and looking to help students whenever they have any trouble with the projects and helping guide them through those. There was a actually incorrect answer on one of the text-based questions on the Hangout, and I apologize for that. The correct price for the Summer Academy is $6,000, not $600. Again, I apologize for that. We'll have that corrected shortly. Another question is, I've been selected for the Summer Academy and look forward to scholarship, but I do not belong to the underprivileged section in India who are recognized as a low-income group for the government. I don't have the documents you're looking for. So this is obviously on a case-by-case thing. Obviously what qualifies as underprivileged in the United States is a bit different than what qualifies in India. So just because you're not qualified by their group does not necessarily mean you won't be eligible for a scholarship. Please direct your questions there or to Sarah, or again, you can email hello@makeschool.com, and we can work with you directly to figure out what documents you can provide us. Another question is any watch app development. So we don't have directly in the curriculum any watch app development plan. However, our instructors are more than familiar with a lot of these new technologies, including a few of our instructors have been building watch apps. So if that's something you're interested in learning, obviously it's not too different than building iOS apps. So if that's something you're interested in learning, you're more than welcome to ask our instructors during the program to say, hey, is there some way that you can teach me a little bit about the watch app? And we'd be more than happy to do so. And I think this is another key point as well, is that our instructors are very, very knowledgeable about development and technology in general, and so we're not just limited to teaching you what the Summer Academy curriculum holds. If you're interested in other topics, we're more than happy to help you learn about those. Another question is, have we finalized the location in Palo Alto? We have not yet finalized the location in Palo Alto. We're looking at a few different locations right now, one at a tech company, one at a co-working space, but we hope to have that finalized shortly. And we'll definitely email out and let you know once that is finalized. Next question is, when will we find out if we are receiving a scholarship, and what is the process on filing for a scholarship? So once you're admitted to the Summer Academy, there should be a form that you can see for applying for a scholarship if you requested it on your application. If you don't see that form, please shoot us an email, and we can make sure to work with you on that. And scholarships are being done on a rolling basis, and so we have sort of every 10 days or so we're letting people know about scholarship decisions, and we'd like to continue to provide that. We're also continuing to raise more money for the scholarship fund from various tech companies around the area, as well as providing some scholarships ourselves. And so the more money that we're able to raise, we also will be able to offer more scholarship. And one thing to note on the scholarship is something that worked very effectively for us last year is that there were a lot of students who used a website called Tilt to crowdfund their tuition, which was really cool. And that sort of helps empower you to raise scholarship money from members of your community and other people you think would like to see you succeed. And so even if you're not, and we encourage every student, even if they're likely to get a scholarship from us, we encourage them to set up a Tilt campaign anyways. It's something that we really like to see, and it shows that you're taking initiative and taking your education into your own hands, and it's a great way for you to pool some money. Obviously, we're pulling a lot of money from our friends and tech companies that we know, but it'd be really cool to see you all pool money from your community as well to help you afford the program. So if you do create a Tilt campaign, that will increase your chances at getting a scholarship from us. And often what happened last year is students were able to raise a certain amount of the funds from Tilt, and we were able to top off their scholarship with the remainder that they needed. Are both the games and apps track taught in Swift, anything in Objective-C? So last year's curriculum was entirely in Objective-C, and this year's curriculum will be entirely in Swift. And the reason we're switching to Swift is because it seems that for both simpler apps as well as more complicated apps, Swift seems to be the de facto standard moving forward. Apple's designed it in a way to make it much more powerful for even very, very advanced apps. That being said, if you're interested in learning Objective-C, we have a lot of content for teaching Objective-C, so it's very easy for us to provide you that if you happen to have an interest in that as well. The next question is, do I need to have an iPhone? You don't need to have an iPhone. You can develop purely on the simulator on the computer, and we also will have some iPod Touches for students to lend to students during the program, sort of when they need to test on a device. So for example, if you're using an accelerometer-based game, then you can use those to test on devices. But you can. I actually developed my first game entirely on the simulator. I didn't have an iPhone back then, and so it's quite easy to do that. So you're not required to have an iPhone, but at the same time, it is recommended. So you can it'll help you with playtesting and so on and so forth. When will emails be sent in regards to interviews? So we try to respond to all applications within about 7 to 10 days. And so if it's been more than that and you haven't heard back from your application, please shoot us an email, again, hello@makeschool.com. But generally speaking, about 7 to 10 days is the duration that we take to review the written application. And then we'll if you get selected for an interview, we generally are quicker to let you know after the interview. I think it's within about 3 days after the interview, you'll get a response on whether you've been accepted. The acceptance rate for the summer program last year was, I think, around 10 or 15%. So again, it is a bit of a selective program. But that being said, the main things that we look for in the application are, do you have the requisite programming background, as well as have you shown some ability and passion for building things in general or making things in general, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be that you've made software before, but other projects you've worked on outside of school where you've taken initiative or created something generally are the kind of traits that we look for. Next question. What happens if Apple updates the Swift syntax mid-semester? So Apple Swift is at a point now where it's mature enough that a lot of companies are using, so they won't be making any major updates to the Swift syntax. There obviously will be small tweaks to the language that will happen later on, but it won't be regarding the types of features and the types of things that you'll be building. If for some reason they do change something like that, which is very, very unlikely, then we'll obviously integrate that and be very quick to iterate and add that to our curriculum. Another question is, I want to start working on my visa because it might take some time. I need papers to improve credibility with the embassy. How can I have that? For this, just shoot us an email, and we're more than happy to provide you with a formal acceptance letter that you can show to the embassy. How will lunch work each day? So all of our locations are close to various restaurants. So either you can bring lunch yourself to the academy, or you can walk a couple blocks in New York City. We're close. We're in the Chelsea area. In San Francisco, we'll be in Soma, and in Palo Alto, we'll be near downtown. So it should be easy for you to go and walk to different restaurants. For students who are under 18, we'll make sure that students go together as a group, so they won't be going to lunch on their own if they're leaving the premises. Will there be a Q&A for the Make School longer term program? Yes, we do plan to have a Q&A for the longer term program, and we'll announce that later. The location in New York City, the location in New York City is on 20th Street and 11th Street. We're going to be sending out an email with the exact address for that as well. It's a really cool, actually has a storefront and a really cool art gallery that we're using as space for the summer, so we're pretty excited about that. Someone is asking again about the scholarship announcement. Again, scholarships are on a rolling basis, and we try to make decisions every 10 days or so for people who have applied. And definitely shoot us an email if you haven't heard back, or we're happy to communicate with you on that. Where do students get accepted to college? So a lot of our alumni have gotten into colleges like Harvard, Princeton, Stanford, MIT, and so on and so forth. Obviously, part of that is due to other accomplishments, but part of that we found a lot of the students have written essays about their experience with Make School and believe, and in their interviews for college, they've showed the app that they created, and it has really helped them. So really pretty much every college, not necessarily every college, but there's a large set of colleges around the country, top colleges, as well as state colleges around the country that students have gotten into with the help of B-School. Another question is, does housing involve roommates? So it depends on which housing you're sort of going through. Most of the housing will involve a roommate, and will ask some questions for people who are interested in applying for a partner housing for who they'd like to be paired up with. Another question is, will you help us get a student visa? So for the summer academy, you don't need a student visa. You can just come on a tourist visa. If you have specific questions about this, shoot us an email and we can send you the full information about how that works. Another question is the scholarship limited to tuition fee, or does it include transportation and housing too? At this point, most of the scholarships will only be towards the tuition. It's hard for us to offer scholarships past that, since obviously those services are outside of our control. And at that point, we again highly encourage you to set up a TILT campaign, because we saw that work very effectively last year for students to be able to get scholarship for and raise money for covering their living expenses. Can we get a tour of the facility before enrolling? Yeah, so in San Francisco, the location will be held out of our office, and so we're happy to have you come and visit our office in San Francisco. We don't have access to the space in Palo Alto or New York City yet until the summer, and so unfortunately we can't have you tour that, but we're happy to have you come visit San Francisco. Again, shoot us an email and we're happy to schedule a visit. Another question is, how much would the housing cost for the dorm? Again, it should be between about $1,000 and $1,500 per month, depending on where it is. Do you have access to the facility after hours to continue working on your project? So we are. This will depend. It'll be case by case based on when our instructors stick around too. Last year, our instructors would typically stick around at least an hour or two after the day ended. Again, it really depends on what the instructors' plans are, and we'll let you know in advance on whether the instructors do plan on sticking around. If the instructors are there, we're happy to have you stay around. Unfortunately, if the instructors are not there, we can't have you in the facilities. But obviously, a lot of our students last year did go home, especially if they were staying with other summer academy students, and they continued to work on their projects at home. What are some of the companies that come to demo day? So a lot of these companies are Y Combinator companies, like TILT, for example, is a close friend of ours who ends up coming to these companies. We had representatives from Facebook, representatives, or some of our friends who worked at Google, and it obviously differs every year which people end up being able to make it, but there's definitely a lot of cool tech companies, both startups and people from developers from larger tech companies as well, checking out Demo Day. The next question, are dorms already set up for the 3 course locations? Do they have additional costs? Again, I've sort of covered this question, but since some people are sort of coming in and out of the hangout, I'll answer it again. We ourselves do not provide dorms. We do have some partners that are offering a limited amount of housing. If you are interested in that, I highly encourage you to apply early and make sure you get in on that. And there is, you do have to pay for that separately. It's not included in the summer camp. Another question is food provided? Food is not provided. We will provide some snacks throughout the day, but lunch itself is not provided. And then another question is, what are specifications for are recommended for Max for the games track? I don't know this question or the answer to this question offhand. However, I think we have in our FAQs on the Summer Academy page. You can check that out. And I think we have the requirements are a Mac running the latest operating system, so that you can have the latest software to be able to use. And past that, if you again have specific questions about this, we'd be happy to. If you send us an email, we'd be happy to get back to you on that. And the last question, I believe, unless there are any more that are coming in, is what was the first app that I created, and how did that lead me to where I am now? So the first app that I created was a game called Helicopter. Some of you, if you actually search my name or Helicopter on the App Store, you can find it. Basically, a little helicopter is going up and down a cave as you tap the screen, and you're avoiding obstacles along the way. And for me, sort of how that impacted my growth. So after I built that first game, it really gave me the confidence that I could go out and set out to do or build whatever it is that I wanted to build. One of the things that you learn when you're building your own product is sort of how to be self-sufficient with learning and how to Google things and how to learn or whatever it is that you need to in order to accomplish what you want to do. And so after I built that app, the next project that I did was building hardware for the iPhone. So I wanted to build a hardware accessory. I wanted to build a little game controller that via Bluetooth would talk to the iPhone, and your iPhone can essentially become a video game console, which was pretty neat. And I was able to create a working prototype of that project using a lot of the same principles I had learned through developing obviously different technologies and working with hardware instead of just software, but using a lot of the same principles and same learnings I had taken. And from there, I continued to build more and more products and eventually started this company. And I think a lot of it, for me, it really feels like it stemmed from that experience because at that time I was just a high school student who wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and really having that experience taught me that, or showed me that I had a great passion for creating products and building products, and gave me confidence even though I necessarily wasn't always the best student in school, but it gave me products that I could build something that was real and would be valued in the real world, much more so than any scores I would get on tests or so on and so forth. How many seats remain for Palo Alto? So I don't have an exact number for that because most of our students right now, we have a couple hundred students who are currently going through the interview process, and based on how that works out, we're not sure how many seats are currently available. I highly encourage you, because we're doing admissions on a rolling basis, I highly encourage you to apply as early as possible. Again, the application deadline is in a week, but the sooner you apply, the better, since we tend to see a rush of applications right at the deadline. Will we all get the same kind of facilities, speakers, resources, etc. in all three places? Yes, absolutely. We're making sure that all three locations have access to the same quality of content for both for instructors and speakers, as well as for being able to meet people from tech companies. So there shouldn't be much preference on which three of the three locations you pick. The next question is regarding the college replacement program. So again, we'll hold a separate Q&A for that. We're accepting students for this September's class, so we have an application online for that as well. The application deadline for that is a bit later, and we do plan to accept international students, and we're hoping by this time next year we should be able to accept international students. Are there networking opportunities with startups and large tech companies? We definitely do have networking opportunities through the speaker events during the Summer Academy. However, if you really are looking to start building your network in Silicon Valley, I highly recommend checking out our 2-year college replacement program. That's where we can offer a lot better networking opportunities and more personalized networking opportunities to our students. The Summer Academy is more focused on learning to build your first product, versus the 2-year program is more building your career in technology and making sure that you learn the right skills as well as build the right network to have a strong career. Another question is, the Make School Shipathon still happening? Yes, the Shipathon will be happening. We're starting to do some more promotion around that. For those of you who don't know, the Shipathon is going to be, it's similar to a hackathon, but instead of starting new projects, we're encouraging students to take a project they've already worked on and try to ship it. And that event will be on April 26th at the Computer History Museum in Mountain View. So Computer History Museum is a really, really cool venue. We held our demo day there last year. It really has the full history of computers from abacuses all the way into modern apples, and shows you how technology evolved through that time. And so again, April 26th at the Computer History Museum, we'll be sending out an email about that shortly. And then finally, what is the most popular game genre among student projects? I think mostly a lot of students like endless runner games, action games tend to be fairly popular. Puzzle games tend to be fairly popular as well. We also have sort of these social multiplayer games that were fairly popular. So I think those were generally the most popular genres. If we get admitted, can we change the location we choose? Yes, you can change the location you choose after you get admitted. We'll probably keep a deadline around a month before or 2 weeks before the Summer Academy starts, where you can no longer change the location, so we can make sure we know the numbers in each location so we can prepare properly. If an application has been in progress since March, is that a bad sign? Again, we should have about a 10-day turnaround time on applications. If it's still in progress, then chances are somehow we missed it or it fell through the cracks. This shouldn't be happening, but if it has, just shoot us an email. Again, hello@makeschool.com. It's definitely not a bad sign. Just shoot us an email and we'll make sure to figure out what happened with that. And in case the spots fill up, if you did apply back in March, we'll make sure that that you can participate in the program if it was our fault that the application is still in progress. How does the experience in the summer program compare to the 2-year program? Sure. So the summer program is mostly focused on taking people who've done a little bit of programming and teaching them how to build their first product or ship their first product. Now, in terms of that, it's mostly teaching you how to build a product fairly quickly because you only have 2 months to do it. And so it's less about going in depth in terms of how might I make a product have a really clean code base and how might I integrate with more advanced features on the iOS ecosystem, or how might I build a product that is scalable and maintainable if it were or being used as the core product of a tech company. The 2-year program is much more of a pre-professional program. Again, it's supposed to replace the college experience, and so not only will you learn app development deeper in terms of having it made more legitimately towards how companies actually build products. You'll also go into web development. You'll also learn computer science theory fundamentals. And the computer science theory and fundamentals will be the same fundamentals you'll cover in college. And we'll have a lot of really cool projects where you'll not just be exposed to computer science in terms of app development, but how might computer science apply to biology, or how might computer science apply to other really big fields. And also in the 2-year program, where we'll go deeper into entrepreneurship, understand more about how there'll be sort of three business components to that program. We'll be doing a bit of business administration, we'll be doing a bit of economics, micro and macro, as well as entrepreneurship, how to do a startup and get users. So again, really the 2-year program is, to some degree, if you were to take a 2-month program and stretch it out into 2 years and expand more on different topics that are relevant to technology, that's what the 2-year program's like. The 2-month program's like a little taste. It's a way to get a bit of exposure to the quality of education we provide at Make School, as well as learn how to build that first product. Another question is there a list of apps and games published to the App Store that have come out of your summer program? We do have a list of these that our alumni have put together. It's probably not a full list because not all of the alumni have submitted their games to that, but if you shoot us an email at hello@makeschool.com, I'd be happy to send you that list. And another question is, are you guys looking to award computer science degrees to those who are in the 2-year Make School college replacement? We are working towards accreditation. Accreditation is basically the process by which we can award degrees. It's a bit of a long process. The way sort of higher education is set up is a bit of sort of a club where if you're part of it, then it's great, and if you're not yet part of it, if you're a new company trying to build a university, it's actually quite difficult to get that, and mostly because a lot of those colleges, and this is obviously getting more into specifics, but a lot of these colleges don't want competition because higher education is a bit of a hidden product in the sense that there is not a lot of transparency and there's not a lot of accountability currently in the higher education system, and having new companies and more competition would make it so that there's less of sort of an oligopoly at play there, and so they unfortunately have made it fairly difficult for new universities to get accreditation, but it's a process that we're working towards. It might take a couple of years for us to get there, and we're also working towards partnering with universities to try to get there faster. So we do plan to award computer science degrees at some point, maybe not for the first class, but the good news is for tech companies, it doesn't really matter too much where you went to school. They care much more about what you're able to build and the portfolio of products you create, which through Make School, you'll have a great network, and we have a lot of partner companies that we're signing up, companies like Hipmunk and Tilt, and there's a lot of other companies that are not necessarily official partners, but will be coming to our 2-year program demo day. And so this year's students for the college replacement got jobs at Snapchat, Pandora, Edmodo, and so on and so forth. And most of them do not have college degrees, so it's pretty amazing the outcomes that we were able to provide the students. But again, it's because they were able to build amazing products with the help of our curriculum. Another question is, where do you obtain your instructors and/or faculty? So for the summer program, the instructors are a mix of really advanced college students, so maybe in the middle of their junior senior year, or and have a lot of apps shipped already. So we only will take a student as an instructor if they've already shipped multiple apps to the App Store. We also have students, or sorry, not students, but people who will be working at tech companies or do work at tech companies and want to take some time off to teach, and they spend their time doing the 2-month program. So there'll be a lot of people from industry who have professional experience with game development or app development teaching for the summer program, as well as students who have some of our alumni who are really, really strong and have shipped multiple apps and have good experience with computer science will also teach. And then for the 2-year program, it's all people who have a strong computer science background from their studies, as well as a lot of experience in industry shipping real-world products. And so the instructors are all people who have, again, that mix of both the traditional computer science background from their higher education, often with master's degrees, but also have a lot of experience in industry shipping real products. And so that's where the instructors come from. Will people who have already graduated from the 2-year college replacement have a chance to agree when you guys get accredited? So this actually depends on exactly when we end up getting accredited. If we get accredited with before the 2-year students graduate, then they will be able to get a degree. If they don't, then we won't be able to award degrees. So it sort of will depend on that. Does everyone submit their app to the App Store? For the most part, everyone submits their app to the App Store, and I think this year we are going to enforce that as a requirement that everyone does, because we think it's a really great experience to actually have something out there. Some students may want to work on their app for a little bit more before jumping into before pushing out to the App Store. So sometimes people will wait a couple months before doing that. Another question is, you talk a lot about apps. Do you focus on web development at all? So for the summer program, it's just apps focused. So we don't have anything on web development. For the 2-year program, we do a heavy amount on web development. And so for the 2-year program, we have a set of the curriculum that's on Ruby on Rails, and on the front end, we'll use either AngularJS or React.js on the front end. So you will be able to build full-fledged apps for the 2-year program. The students this year built products like a product hunt for music, where you can submit songs and different groups can upload and download on it and listen to music. And there was another app that was web app that was allowing students who are applying for internships. And they basically gave them an opportunity to track, is sort of like a CRM for them to track what different companies are applying to and help make that process easier. Another question is, Tilt isn't available outside the US and Canada. Are there any alternatives? So we have a very close relationship with Tilt. So if you're international, what we do is we can set up the campaign such that the campaign will pay money directly to us. So you don't need to be based in the US or Canada to set up a Tilt campaign. And people who are donating money to Tilt don't need to be in the US. So people in every country can donate money to Tilt. And for setting up the campaign, there's a requirement for you to be in the US. But what you have to do is basically reach out to us, shoot us an email at hello@mayschool.com and say, hey, I'm an international student, I need help setting up my Tilt campaign, and we can help enable that for you. I got admitted into the program and I can't afford tuition. Is there a chance I can attend? Yes. So we have scholarships available. About 40% of our students last year receives full or partial scholarship. So you shoot us an email. You should have received some information about the scholarships, but if you didn't, shoot us an email, again, hello@mayschool.com, and we can send you information on the scholarships. You mentioned there's an increased interest in programs such as Make School, and hires are not only limited to those with degrees only. Is this a trend gaining in popularity? If so, why? And do you feel a degree is a significant plus? So this has been something that's been true for the past few years, but in recent years has become more and more true. The main reason behind this is that when you're applying to computer science jobs, the degree will mostly only serve as getting you the interview. And past that, the degree does not really help very much. In fact, a lot of companies see a degree and basically look at a college and say, because the student was good enough to get into Stanford in the first place, that's why we are looking at this. And so hirers use it. When I have 100 people, it's hard for me to read 100 resumes. So the easiest way for me to filter resumes is by saying, okay, people who went to top schools, let me look at those resumes first. Now, we circumvent that because we have direct relationships with a lot of these employers. And at the end of the day, if you have a really strong portfolio of products that you can show to these recruiters, as well as good understanding of the technology, as well as you can send them a link to your GitHub source code. GitHub is essentially becoming the new resume. And that's becoming a lot more valuable. If you can show that here's all the code that I've written in GitHub, the employers can actually look at your code and say, hey, is this the kind of person who would be able to contribute to my company? Have they built apps that are similar to the kind of things that we need built? And those things are much more powerful in terms of getting someone a job. And so because of that, especially in Silicon Valley, the need for a degree is on the decline. Because there's a big skills gap between what colleges teach and what companies actually need. And most companies find that people who do have computer science degrees at college or from colleges can't actually program and aren't actually good enough to work. And so even the students who are getting degrees from universities they need to be doing a lot in their free time. They need to be building apps. They need to be building something and shipping products in their free time to be able to get jobs at these top companies. And so because of that, we don't really feel it's a significant plus. Again, it's something that gets your foot in the door occasionally, but again, because of our network through Y Combinator companies as well as Andreessen Horowitz companies, and a lot more people are starting to hear about Make School and see that this is what they think is the future of CS education. They don't necessarily require a degree, especially for students who come out of our program. Do we have contacts with companies outside of North America? So we do have some contacts with companies outside of North America. We're working on a partnership with a company called the Global Accelerator Network, which has connected to startups and tech companies all around the world. 500 Startups is also one of our investors who has contacts at companies all around the world, and we have a few of our investors actually come from Tokyo, and so we don't have contacts at companies in every country, but we definitely do have contacts at companies around the world, and we're happy to again help you look for those as well as reach out to companies on your behalf if you're interested. What would you recommend as methods of advertising Tilt if I make one to raise more money out of it? So we actually have a full sort of how-to guide and instruction guide for what Tilt campaigns or what things end up working well for Tilt campaigns. Again, we've worked with them directly to build a full list of these things. If you shoot us an email, we'd be happy to send you a list of those. But again, we have a great how-to guide for that. Question is, do lots of people get internships at Facebook during the 2-year college replacement? So we've only run the program once with 11 students, and so none of them ended up working at Facebook. Again, Snapchat, Pandora, Edmodo, and a few other tech startups, Papaly and Think, and one actually had an app dev shop that's worked on apps for cool companies like Udacity. And so specifically, we have not placed anyone directly to Facebook yet, but we do know a lot of university recruiters at Facebook that are very excited about our program. And so if you're specifically interested in Facebook, we can definitely work to help pair you with them. We definitely want to make sure that students are able to get to the companies that they want. And we know some of our students coming in for next year are telling us, hey, I really want to work for Mozilla. And if you tell us that, we can work through our network and figure out a way to get you there. Cool. So that wraps up all the questions so far. I'll give it a couple minutes in case anything else comes in. I hope this information session has been helpful. I hope I've been able to answer your questions properly. We may have another Summer Academy info session in the future, and we definitely will have another one for the 2-year program. If you have further questions, you can always drop us a line. Again, hello@makeschool.com. And if you go to our website, there should be a link, if you scroll down, there should be a link to a contact button where we also have our phone number listed. So if you have questions, you can always give us a call. And again, we're happy to answer any questions that you have. Yeah, it seems like the questions have stopped rolling in, so we can wrap up the info session. Thank you all for taking the time to come in and ask questions about this. Again, I hope this was valuable, and we're looking forward to a really exciting summer program this year, and looking forward to meeting you all in person soon. So thank you.